Hi everyone, and welcome to How to Magnetize the Love of Your Life, 8 Steps to Your Beloved's Arms. I'm Shapiro, and I'm about to go through the highlights of our step 4 in our series, which is Shine Your Radiant Light and Become Irresistibly Magnetic. In this step we had the wonderful Sherry Valentine, we had myself, Felice Dunaz, and Johnny and Laura Fernandez. Sherry Valentine taught us, that being radiant, it comes from within. It's very much about shining our light and really being who we are, being approachable and available and not closed off to love. She taught us that, she sees people turning down their power by allowing their value to be sourced through the outside. So through other people and what other people think of them, rather than having their own sense of their own value. She taught us how to go about consciously creating and cultivating relationships. We begin by asking ourselves, who do I want to be in a relationship? How do I want to show up in a relationship? Who am I? How do I give and receive in relationships? It's about asking these deeper questions in order to consciously go into a relationship. She taught us that, I asked her about turning up our love light so that our soulmate can find us. And she said it's about being very clear and honest with ourselves, what we need and who we are. So we're starting from that place. You can't receive what you don't know to ask for. So, getting very, very clear. So, let's go to myself. I taught us all about being radiant and magnetic, and that our society has taught us that it's all about what we look like, and we've been given these images through our culture and our role models and our society about the external and what we look like, whereas actually being radiant is this living, alive, ever-expressing, dynamic, shining light within ourselves. And we learn to be radiant by, giving up, hiding that, and becoming willing to step into our fullest self-expression. It's giving up the rules that the society has put in us and deciding that we are going to be our truest selves, we're going to be our most authentic selves. I taught about vulnerability, and this is really the key to becoming irresistibly magnetic, and the key to that deep soul connection, that connection that we truly want with another person, is about vulnerability. And it's very different to being needy, which puts out more of a child energy. When we are authentic and allow ourselves to be fully seen, that is a very powerful place to be. And there's a lot more in this in our workbook, and I really invite you to check that out. Let's move to Felice Dunaz. Felice Dunaz taught us all about sex and sexuality, so it was a wonderful call. She taught us about, the difference between sex and sexuality, and that sex itself is an act, it's a verb. Sexuality is inherently within us, it's born into us. It's part of who we are, our sexuality. And she taught us all about, what makes women and men sexually magnetic. So many of us think that we have to lead with our sexuality and let someone know about it, right? And that's somehow magnetic, and in fact it's not. And, a woman is magnetic by her ability to receive. Receptivity is what's really receptive in a woman. And this is really imperative when it comes to being magnetic. When a man knows he can make his woman feel good, that he draws him to her, when he knows he can make her feel good, when he's got that confidence, when he knows that she will really receive what he has to offer, it will inspire and empower him and he will be drawn to her. Okay? So she taught us all about presenting our sexuality during dating, and she really advised us to hold off and wait until we are truly compatible with someone, and we have assessed that compatibility. and so much more. Please do check out the workbook for Felice's wonderful call with us. So much amazing information. Johnny and Lara Fernandez, the wonderful, inspiring couple for Step 4, they taught us again all about being magnetic, and it's got nothing to do with our looks, our shape, our size, you know, but it's got to do with the inner work that we do from within, and they really encouraged us to do that inner work, you know. That is how we're going to let our light shine. You know, how we kind of have all seen people that at first glance seem physically attractive, and then on further getting to know them, we realise they're unhappy with their lives, you know, or that they're discontented, or they're really not living their passions. So they're not actually letting their light shine. So even though they may be physically attractive, there's not that magnetism. They taught us about, you know, how do we see women turning their power down, and they taught us about, you know, when they're not clear or committed to the life that they really want, when they put everyone else's needs first except their own. They taught us that there is someone for everyone, that love is truly what we are here for, and that we can absolutely have the love that we desire. And they also spent quite a long time telling us about the commitment that's needed to bring in our soulmate. If we want to have an extraordinary experience of love, we have to be extraordinary. And they took us through an exercise of, you know, questions to ask ourselves about how important our soulmate is to us, how important it is to have love in our lives. If we were at our deathbed and we were looking back on our lives, would we be okay with not having that soulmate connection that we had yearned for? And so, you know, if these questions can help you to really dig into that, making it your priority, get into that, I'm going to do what it takes, really get into that commitment. And that is the type of commitment that's needed to really draw that love towards us. All of our speakers coached people on the call, people asked wonderful questions. You know, I really invite you to check out our workbook this week, Step 4, Shine Your Radiant Light and Become Irresistibly Magnetic. Thank you so much, everyone. I look forward to being with you next week for Step 5, Be Who You Would Like to Be With. Lots of love, everyone. Bye-bye.